Hello and welcome to another Flutter tutorial. In this video, we will see how to work with push notifications in Flutter using Firebase. We'll be sending push notifications from Firebase to device. We will learn what are cloud functions, how to write a cloud function and execute it to send push notifications, and how to use cloud functions to work with Firebase Database. And we will also see how to debug cloud functions. So for all these to work, you need to have a Firebase account. So first you need to sign up with Firebase to use it. So I'm assuming you already have a Firebase account. Okay, so let's start. So here I'm starting with an empty template. I just have an empty container in my home app. So the first thing we are going to do is to create an app in the Firebase account so that it can communicate with our app. Okay, so for that we need some of our app's details. So let's go to the build out Gradle in our Android app and copy the package name. Now we need to go to firebase.google.com and create a project. I'm going to name it Flutter Push Demo. Okay, we need to accept the terms and conditions. Okay, then create the project. Now Firebase will create a project for us. Okay, so let's wait for the project creation to complete. Okay, now it's complete. Let's go to the console and I'm going to create an Android app. So paste in the package name. Now give it a name and it needs the SHA-1 key. So click on the help and go to this website. It's an Android developer website, and open a terminal and execute it. The password is empty, so you just have to press enter. Now you have to copy the SHA-1 key. So just copy it and paste it in the text box and click on register app. Now we will get the Google services.json. Copy it and you have to go in the Android app folder and paste it there. Okay, so this file helps to connect with the console and our app, so make sure you have the proper JSON for the corresponding app. Okay, so the next thing is we need to go to the build out Gradle. So we have two build out Gradle here. Go to the project level build out Gradle, the one that is outside the app folder, and you need to copy this and paste it under the dependencies. Okay, and also make sure you have this Google repository added in the repository section. Okay, now you need to go to the other build out Gradle, which is inside the app. Okay, so that's the app level build out Gradle, and make sure we have these two plugins set up. Okay, so we have the Android application plugin. Now we need to copy the Google services plugin, and I'm gonna paste it at the very end of the file. Okay, now we need to add the Android Firebase library. Okay, so copy that and under the dependency section just paste it. Okay, so we have the Android setup done now. Now we have to run our app to see if we have correctly set up the Firebase. Okay, so click on next. So our app is still building, so wait for it to finish. Okay, so when we click on next, it will say you have successfully added Firebase to our app. Okay, so if you have trouble in connecting to your Firebase app, just try to reinstall the app and it will properly connect to your Firebase app, and make sure you have the proper Google services JSON file. Okay, now I will create a new file for the UI. I'm going to name it Firebase messaging demo.dart. So this will be the UI where we will show the push messages. Okay, but before that we need to open the pubspec YAML file and make sure you add this plugin, the Firebase messaging plugin. I'll be providing the link to this plugin in the description. And I forgot to add one more thing. Open the Android manifest file and inside the activity we need to add this intent filter. So this will be needed when we get the push notifications in the system tray and when the user clicks on it. So this will be fired. So make sure you don't forget it. You need to add it inside the main activity. Okay. Now let's go back to our Firebase messaging demo.dart and create the UI. So class Firebase messaging demo extends a stateful widget, a constructor, and a title. And we need to create the state as well. That will have the overridden build method. I'm just returning an empty container for now. Now we need to return the state in the create state. Okay, let's open the main.dart file, import the Firebase messaging demo and set it as home so that it will launch as the first screen. Okay, now let's start by creating a Firebase messaging instance. Okay, so as you know, to send a message to a device, we need to know the address of the device, right? So Firebase will be providing a unique ID for a device, okay, with which we will be sending message to that particular device. So Firebase has an API for this. So we need to call Firebase instance dot get token. So that will get back with the device token. Okay. So let's try to print it out and see how it looks. Okay. All right. Now override the init state method and call this method. So if I try to restart the app, you can see that there is a long string. So that's the unique identifier for this device. Okay. Okay. So Firebase messaging.configure. So it will have some callbacks. So the first one is the on message callback. So that will have a map of string and dynamic. Okay. For now, we'll just print it out. Okay. Similarly, we will have two more callbacks. So I'm just copying it and pasting it. So the second one is on launch and third one is on resume. So we will see when all these three callbacks are going to be fired in a short while. Okay, so let's call this function in the init state and restart the app. Okay, now let me add a scaffold in the UI with a title. Okay, all right, now we have the title. Let's go back to the Firebase console and go to the grow section. There you will see the cloud messaging and start by creating your first message. Click on next. Here we have to select our app. Okay, click on next and scheduling to now. You can enable or disable the sound. Okay, so here is the part that we are interested in. So I'm setting a key message with a sample message value. Okay, I'm setting the sound as enabled and click on publish. Now go back to our app and if I open the debug console, you can see we have received two messages. So that's because there is a bug in the Firebase messaging plugin. So if you go to the issues in the GitHub, you can see it. So I'm hoping they will fix it soon. So for now, we will go with this. Okay. So right now what we have done is we have sent the message to all the devices that is connected to that app. But we have the device ID here, right? The device ID specific to this device. So let's send a message only to this device. So click on send message and add device ID and click on test. So you should receive the message here. So let me change the message to device. Okay. So you can see that we received the message. Okay, that's because we use this device's device ID. Okay, now let's create a simple class message to hold the below data. Okay, so I'm just setting the title, body, and the message. So a constructor will accept these parameters and set it. So title, body, and the message. Okay, so now let's create a list of messages. So we will be showing all the messages in a list view. Okay, list messages. Let's initialize that. Okay, so that's a list of messages. Now we need to add each message to this list, correct? So let's write a new function, set message, that will accept the message coming from the Firebase. Let's extract the values from the message object. So message notification. Okay, now we need to get the title, body, and the data. Now let's get the data. So that will be message of data. Okay, now we need the title, so that will be notification and title. All right, and the body, so let's copy and paste. So that's a body. All right, now we need the message, which is inside the data. So data of message is a key, right? Okay, so we got the message. Now we need to create the message variable. So message m is equal to new message, and pass in the title, body, and the message. Okay, now we need to add it to the messages list. So messages dot add m. Okay, and call set state. I need to pass in the m message variable. So okay, now it's okay. So call set message and pass in the message object in all three callbacks. All right, now let's create the body with the list view. We have the list of messages now. Okay, so item count is, so if the messages is null, we are setting it to 0, otherwise it's messages dot length. So item builder will have the context and the index, and we need to return a view for each row in the list view here. So I'm returning a card with child padding. I'm setting the padding to 15, and the child, which is a text. So let's show the message here. So messages of index dot message. Okay, so let's set a text style with a font size of 16 and the colors dot black. All right, now we have the list view. Now let's restart the app and send a message from the Firebase. Okay, it's appearing the list view now. All right, it's all set. Now let's try to fire the other two callbacks. So for that, I'm just backgrounding the app and go to the Firebase and send another message. So we got the notification here. So when I click on the notification, it's not adding to the list view. So let me show you what we did wrong here. So if you go to the Firebase messaging documentation, so if we go through the documentation, we did all this. We have added the manifest entry. Okay, so if you go down, it's saying like if the notification is appearing in the tray, you need to add this key. So let's add the key. I'm going to the data section, and let me set it as the first key. The order doesn't matter, but I'm just setting it as the first key. Okay, and make sure it has the value Flutter notification click. Okay, and I have a message key as well. All right, so if you publish, so I'm backgrounding the app, and if I click on the notification, now it's being added to the list. So we got the callback here. All right, so don't forget to add this, the click action in the data. One thing to note here is on the on resume and on launch callbacks, the notification object will be empty. Okay, so now the on message and on resume has been fired. Now let's see how we can fire the on launch callback. Okay, so for that, let's kill the app. All right. Okay, now we will send a message. We have the click action, everything set on launch. Okay, so this is just to identify the message. So we have the message here. So when we click on that, okay, it was supposed to load in the list view, but somehow there is an issue here. So let me try to reinstall the app. Okay, so now it's completely rebuilding. Okay, now it's starting. Okay, we'll kill the app now, and we'll go to Firebase and send a notification. Okay, all right, we have received the notification, and now it's loading in the list view. Okay, so that's working. In a real world, we won't be sending notification like this, right? We won't be going to the Firebase console and inserting a notification, right? But instead, maybe something, when something is added to the database, and that will trigger a notification and it will send to all users, something like that. So let's create a database here in the Firebase console itself, and we will try to send a notification when a new record is being added to the database. Okay, so let me copy the device token here, and I'm going to create a new collection. So assume it as a new table, device tokens, with the field device underscore token and the device ID. So I have a collection here with the device IDs. So basically, in a real world application, you'll be saving these device IDs in your own database, and when it is time to send a message, you will be getting all these device IDs from your database and then sending the message. But for this demo, we will be saving the device tokens in a separate collection called device tokens, and we'll be creating another table called messages, and we will be triggering the push notification when a new record is being added to the new collection, the message collection. Okay, so let's do that. So let's create the collection messages with a key message and a value message1. So that's a new document. So I just added a new document to the collection. Okay, now let's go to the function section of the Firebase console, and we'll be writing a new cloud function. So for that, we need to follow these steps. First, need to install the Firebase tools. Wait for it to complete. The next step is Firebase login. So you need to log into Firebase in the terminal. So use Firebase login. That will open up a browser, and you need to log into your Firebase console there, and then it will come back to your terminal. All right, so if you want to log out, you can use Firebase logout. Now I'm going to create a new directory and go inside the directory. Then we need to execute the command Firebase init functions. Okay, now it will ask for the project. So use an existing project, then select your project. Then it will ask for the language. So I'm selecting JavaScript. Then it will ask to install the dependencies. So make sure you select yes. Then wait for it to complete. Okay, now the Firebase initialization is complete. I have opened the project in my editor. Okay, I have opened the index.js file which is present in the project. Okay, now we are going to write our cloud functions here, and then we will be deploying those in the Firebase. Okay, so let's start writing the cloud functions. So first we need the Firebase admin. So constant admin is equal to require Firebase admin. Now we need to initialize the app. So admin dot initialize app functions dot config dot functions. Okay, so that's how we initialize the app. Now I'll create a new variable, new data. So we are going to use it later. So this is my function name, message trigger. So that's equal to functions dot firestore dot document. So we are going to listen to the messages collection. Okay, so that will be messages slash, so we need to give a variable here, message ID. Okay, and we are going to listen to, so we have so many listeners here on create, on delete, on update, on write. So I'm just selecting on create. So this will be fired when a new document is being added to the messages collection. Okay, so that's when we want to send a notification. So that's why we are listening to the on create of messages, and that's going to take two parameters. One is the snapshot and second one is the context. Okay, and the snapshot contains the new data that is coming in, so I make it an asynchronous function. Okay, now now we are going to check if the snapshot is empty. So if it is empty, we are going to log a message. So you can put any message there and we will just return from there. So otherwise, let's get the new data. So that will be snapshot.data, and we need a payload to send to the device, right? So we know the format of the payload, right? So that's a whole format. So make sure you are sending the payload in this format itself. So it should have two keys, notification and data. Okay, so let's change the title to push title and the body to push body and the message to sample push message. Okay, and you can optionally set the sound as well. So I'm setting it to default. Now we need to set one more key to the data object. So remember, we had set the click action when we send messages, right? So that's important. So we need to set it here as well. So click action, make sure it's a same exact string, Flutter notification click. Okay, now we need to send this payload to the device, right? So a try catch constant response is equal to await admin dot messaging dot send to device. So that will accept an array of device IDs or device tokens. So let me create an array. Var tokens is equal to an empty array, and we are going to set our device ID here. So let me copy that and paste it. Okay, and so pass in there tokens with a payload. Okay, so right now we are just hard coding the device ID. So later we'll be querying from the collection and we'll be sending the message. Okay, so if it is an error, we'll say error sending notifications. Okay, now we need to deploy our function. Okay, Firebase deploy. So wait for it to finish. Okay, deploy complete. Now if we go to our Firebase and go to functions, you can see our cloud function has been uploaded. And so what we have done here is we will check for a new document creation in the messages collection, and then we will send the message to that particular device ID. So let's create a new document. Now this should trigger our cloud function. So if you look at our device, so we can see that's our message from the cloud function. Okay, so that's working. So when we add a new document, our cloud function will be triggered and it will send the message to that particular device ID that we have set. Okay, now let's change the code a little bit. So we have the new data here. So get the message from that data. So that should be data function. Okay, so we are getting that message and we are sending that as push notification message. Okay, so once we deploy, we should be able to trigger it. So wait for it to complete. So deploy is complete. Now let's go to our database and add a new document. Okay, so so you can see in the log it has already been triggered and we received the message. Okay, that's in the UI as well. Okay, I have backgrounded the app. Now if I create a new document, this should fire the message and we should receive a notification in the device tray. Okay, it's there. Now click on it. Okay, we have the new message as well. All right, so that's working. So if you remember, we had hard-coded the device tokens in the cloud function, right? But that may not be the right way to do it, correct? So what we will do is we will iterate through this collection and get all the documents or the device IDs and then supply those device tokens to the Firebase to send the message. Okay, so let's make updations to our cloud function. So that will be constant device tokens is equal to await admin dot firestore dot collection. Our collection name is device tokens. Okay, dot get. So we'll get all the documents. Now we will look through the documents and we will add each device token to the tokens array. So that would be token dot data dot. So the key is device underscore token. So device token. Okay, so we have the array of device IDs now. So we will delete that, make it empty. So now we have all the device tokens in the tokens array and we are using that to send to the device with the payload. Okay, now we need to redeploy the function. Okay, the deploy is complete. So I'm just restarting the application and I'm going to add a new document. Okay, so if we look at the device, it's not fired. So I had made a mistake in the cloud function and I will show you how to debug it. So for that, we need to go to the Firebase functions section. And you can see a logs tab. There you can see a type error device tokens is not iterable. Okay, so that is the error we are looking for. So that should be device token dot docs. So I'm redeploying the function. Okay, the deploy is complete. Now let's go to the Firebase console and add a document. Okay, save it. Now it should appear in the device. Okay, so that's working. So that's how we can debug cloud functions. All right. So let's see what we have done so far. We have created two collections, messages and device tokens. The device tokens will hold the device IDs and the message will hold the messages to be sent to the device. When a new message is added to the messages collection, our cloud function gets triggered and we will get the new data, and then we will iterate through the device tokens, get all the device tokens, and then we will call the Firebase function to send the payload to all the devices with a message. Okay, so that's how the whole thing works now. We have done this for Android, so if you want to do this for iOS, we need to follow some more steps. I'm not doing it in this demo, but I'll go through it. If we go through the Firebase messaging plugin documentation, you can see that just like what we did in Android, you will get a Google service info.playlist that you need to add in your iOS app, and you need to enable the background modes, the background task, and the remote notifications. Then you need to upload your APNS certificate, that is Apple push notifications. So if you click the link and go to documentation, you can see all the instructions on how to create that. Before that, you should have an Apple developer account. Once you log into your account, you can just follow these steps, and you will need to upload your APNS authentication key and register for remote notifications. Then you can follow what we have done for Android and send push notifications to iOS devices as well. Okay, so that's all in this video. If you have any comments, please let me know in the comment section below. If you like the video, please don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Also, hit the bell icon for notifications about my new videos. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.